Hey, Charles Hoffman here from Black Ghost Audio. If your 808s suck and don't sound as rich, distorted, and beefy as the 808s you hear in commercially released songs, I've got a solution for you, and it requires no mixing plugins. Here's what you'll be able to make. The issue that you've probably run into is that you download an 808 sample, it sounds okay, not that impressive, and then you try to spruce it up with a bunch of different mixing plugins. This can work, but it's time consuming, you need to cater to the sample, and you don't have nearly as much flexibility as you do using the method I'm about to show you. Half the people watching this video are probably going to dip out once I mention what we're doing, but I promise this is one of the fastest and easiest ways to make fat 808s, so stick with me here. We're going to be synthesizing an 808 from scratch using a plugin called Kick 2 by Sonic Academy that's specifically made for creating kicks and 808s. I got hooked on this plugin about 4 years ago, and it's what I use to add 808s to all my songs now. Mixing downloaded 808 samples has just become a total waste of time. Sonic Academy isn't sponsoring this video. I use this plugin all the time, and it's my secret weapon for making any type of 808. Generally speaking, 808s aren't that hard to make. They're basically just a sine wave that decays slowly over time, and there's often a pitch drop a part of the sound as well. Quite often there's some distortion to make the 808 sound gritty. If you want to get fancy, you can layer in a click or a tonal drum like a tom to help your 808s stand out in your mixes. Pretty much any synth is going to provide the features to allow you to make an 808, but Kick 2 delivers a really streamlined workflow. It's made specifically for creating kicks and 808s. The subcontrol module is where the main character of your 808 comes from. Cycling through these presets doesn't do anything until you turn up the harmonics knob. You can also change the pitch of the note being played. Or engage key tracking so that when you play notes up and down your keyboard, the pitch of your 808 changes as well. This feature is toggled off by default, so you'll probably want to turn it on. The Portamento section lets you create pitch bends between MIDI notes. I'm going to load up a sustained bass sound and pitch this up pretty high so you can hear what's happening. You can create pitch bends from one note to another by turning up this knob and overlapping MIDI notes. Engaging this slide button will create a pitch bend between every note that you play, regardless of whether or not the notes are overlapping. I tend to keep slide mode off because I like having the option to create pitch bends, as opposed to every note pitch bending into the next automatically. Pitch view allows you to control the pitch of your 808s over time. This line represents the pitch envelope, and you can add or remove envelope nodes by double-clicking. Amp view lets you affect the amplitude envelope of your 808s. There are 3 different built-in samplers that you can use to layer samples like clicks beneath your 808s. You can mute these samples and solo them. You have the option to modify the pitch of the sample, shorten the sample's length, change the sample's starting point, and filter the sample. There's an EQ that provides tone shaping options. And a distortion module that lets you really dirty up your 808s. This drive knob provides a warm and subtle form of saturation. As you can hear, Kick 2 does a great job of preserving the low end of 808s. Using other synths, it's easy to overdo the distortion you've applied and lose the roundness and impact of your low end. If you're guilty of that, Kick 2 is perfect because even if you crank up the distortion and drive all the way, your low end is still going to sound fat. There's a built-in compressor that will help tame the level of transient material and make the body of your layered samples more present. For heavily compressed EDM tracks, this can help you get the sound you're looking for. Listen to Boss Mode by Knife Party, and you'll hear a great example of a tight and dialed-in EDM 808. It sort of sounds like this. This patch is so basic and there's no fancy processing, but Kick 2's engine sounds super tight and powerful. There's a brick wall limiter that you can use to prevent clipping. You can export your Kick and 808 patches directly from Kick 2, which is useful if you create sample packs, or just want to beef up your sample library without pulling up your DAW's export menu. Kick 2 comes with a bunch of presets that actually sound great. Based on the genre of music that you produce, there's going to be a handful of presets that you can use as a starting point and tweak to fit your songs. Recently, I trimmed down the number of plugins that I allow myself to use. This has helped me focus much more on writing songs as opposed to getting lost in my plugin library. There's only 4 virtual instruments that I use, and Kick 2 is one of them. It has an awesome workflow and it quickly spits out killer 808s. This plugin is around $60, and in my opinion, it's totally worth it if you write hip hop, EDM, or pop. You can demo the plugin for 14 days and check it out. Again, this is not a sponsored video. Kick 2 is just an awesome plugin that I wanted to share with you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to the Black Ghost Audio YouTube channel for more music production tips and tricks like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Break.